So someone in my actually it wasn't in my comment section. It was in a comment section on another guy's video, another red pill guy's video. I can't remember his name either. I know I'm terrible. I got a terrible memory, but he was talking about how we were discussing modern feminism and how women of today have been used by modern feminism as pawns in a bigger game to dismantle the family unit, right? They want to label it the quote unquote patriarchy, but really it's the family unit that they're after. The patriarchy, quote unquote, is another one of those terms that's used basically if you're just saying men, right? We can just take patriarchy and just say men, right? I mean, the founders of feminism, these radical are really radical feminists. These radical feminist females, many of them were lesbians. They weren't even attracted to men, or at least they were so damaged that they had developed hatred for men. I mean, the leaders at the forefront in the 60s, 70s, 80s, the female feminist leaders were misandrous. If you study into their history, even Planned Parenthood, who was it? Margaret Atwood, I think that's her name. One of the, or maybe it was Mary Carey Curry. I'm terrible. Anyway, sorry guys, but one of the female founders, you probably know who I'm talking about. She's famous. One of the female founders of Planned Parenthood was actually a eugenicist, and she was a racist. They purposely put Planned Parenthood into black neighborhoods and encouraged black women to have abortions to support eugenics. There is a eugenics agenda, and what we're going through right now with this whole virus thing could be. I don't want to get into that, but this is all, this whole feminist narrative, it's all leverage. It's all a very clever plot, really. It's a very cleverly devised and highly effective devised scheme to remove men from the family unit, to remove male leadership specifically. And I was reminded of who's really behind it all, with this comment that this guy made on this other red pill comment section on this other red pill video, where he said they're just being used by the devil. And the devil is just going to discard them. The devil's just going to discard them when it's all over. Like, they're just being used. They're pawns. It's not benefiting them, right? I mean, STD rates have skyrocketed. Single mother statistics have skyrocketed. Divorce has skyrocketed. Divorce went from like 29%, I believe, in 1950s to the 1980s, up to 50%. And I think at one point it was 60%, 60 plus percent. I think at one point. Now it's kind of leveled out to about between 40 and 50%, which is incredibly high. I mean, that's an incredible risk. And we all know what happens in the court systems, right? So marriage is very, 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 very dangerous for men. It's a very dangerous proposition for men. Many men are opting out. And if women really want to get married, they have no choice now, often, but to choose the beta male, to choose the yes man, who just happens to be a good provider. And this is what these guys are starting to adapt to, and they're starting to, sort of transform into, is this yes man guy who says yes dear at everything, and who, doesn't care about her past, quote unquote, although as men we should all care, right? But you have to be a certain kind of warped, and I think men do care. It's just you have to be a certain type of warped mentally and emotionally to accept that she has a long past, a long promiscuous, dirty past right? Now, objectively, there might be an argument there. Well, why do I care about your past? You shouldn't care about my past. But when you really get into the details of the matter, is her lay count and her promiscuity is way more than yours. Okay, it's not even close in probably most cases. Why? Because your average guy does not have unlimited access to sex. Your average female does. I don't care if she's below par in the attractiveness scale, she has unlimited access to sex with most guys. Okay, I would say a 5 out of 10 could sleep with as high as an 8 or a 9 out of 10 attractiveness guy on any day of the week, period. Okay, so it's not the same, and men are having to adjust. So now we have these yes men, and this is what our society's turned into. So you can definitely argue that feminism, second and third wave feminism, are what was horrible. I mean, the main thing they argued in second wave feminism was personal feelings. They brought personal feelings into legislative matters. So basically, by personal feelings, what they're trying to say is that if a woman feels oppressed, etc., she can somehow use that to affect the law. And basically that's how divorce got to where it is. And what they did was they amended certain divorce laws where they brought in irreconcilable differences, where if a woman just feels like she's not getting everything that she thought she was going to get out of a marriage, then she could easily end it. And this is why that, and the whole promiscuity thing, because now cheating is a top 3 reason. So it's irreconcilable differences, finances, and cheating. I mean, that is just like boom, 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 shameful. Like all 3 of those reasons are shameful. It's like, hey, don't cheat. Finances don't equal love, so you got to work that out. And if you're having issues with something, you work it out like adults, right? It's just that, our women have these incredible high standards, to the point where, if it's not a perfect marriage, and woo, it's like, no, nothing's perfect. Life isn't perfect. Marriage is not going to be perfect. That's why you love someone. It's why you marry someone that you love, because if you love someone, then you work things out. But if you don't love someone, then you're gonna run at the first sign of problems. And this is why marriages are often annulled. This is why marriage does not work. This is why second, third marriages is even way worse to working, because people don't know how to love, and people don't know how to work things out anymore. And this is what second wave feminism did, was it made it okay to just run. It made it okay to jump off the ship, and the grass is greener. It made it okay to, this all plays into hypergamy. This plays into monkey branching. This plays into the female manipulation, right? It all plays into it, right? If she wants money and she doesn't want to work for it, all she has to do is marry a rich man and divorce him. Women have highly abused this in the court system. The court system has not only allowed it, it's pretty much encouraged it, because divorce is big business, just like diamonds are big business. So the whole marriage divorce carousel is highly profitable for profiteers, for businessmen, for the diamond business, for lawyers, for court systems. They make a killing. And what do you think they're tied into? They're tied into legislation. So you think the people in the legislation are going to pass laws that make it harder to divorce? No. You think the legislation are going to pass laws that make it illegal to kill babies? No, because Planned Parenthood is big business. Killing babies is big business. Stem cell research. What do you think they do with those babies? Right? Stem cell research. It's part of the eugenics agenda. They want to keep the population down. It's easier to control a smaller population. Anyway, the feminist narrative is about leverage. This is provable statistically. Okay, kids from broken homes are much more highly likely to commit crime, to go to prison, to be dysfunctional, to be depressed, to commit suicide. Okay, the statistics are in. This is all statistics. It's all provable facts. So the other thing is, what was I gonna say? Yeah, that's all provable facts. As well as, of course, we have the court system, which is a grift, right? The court system is a grift. And then, gosh damn it, what was I gonna say? The other thing is, this is social engineering, right? This is social engineering. So I talked about how men have to become beta providers nowadays in order to get a woman. We have to become yes men, because love is not in the equation, because it's her way or the highway, right? Oh, if you don't accept me for my past, then you just got to move on. It's like, right? It's like, there's nothing to love about that. There's nothing to love about, like, if you love your partner, if you want to find love, you don't go out and sleep with a bunch of people. You want to find, you're going to go out and you're going to find one quality person to love. Now, in a sense, it's, can somebody who rode the cock carousel find true love? Sure. But 9 times out of 10, they're really not trying to find love. So at first it's just all about dick, and nobody's raising them. So at first it's all about dick, right? Riding the cock carousel. And then once they get off the cock carousel, then it's about hypergamy. Then it's about, oh, well, I need a man who's going to take care of me and my bastard kids, because probably by the time they get off the cock carousel, they've got kids, right? So there you go. Bing, bang, boom. This is what, there's no love involved. It's like, oh, well, I got off the cock carousel. Now I want to find love. No, it's now I want to find my perfect little life, my perfect little marriage with my breadwinner who's going to take care of me and provide for me. Or if I'm working, he's going to at least, support me financially, bring something to the table, because they're not going to, there's no way that the roles are ever going to reverse. This is how equality is bullshit. The concept of equality is bullshit. The roles never get reversed, in the sense that the woman doesn't work while the man stays at home. That'll never happen, because that's just not female nature. It's not in female nature to provide for a man. However, it is in male nature to provide for a woman, right? But it's not in female nature to provide for a man, because women require men to have goals and jobs and money and assets, right? That is a man's value in society. Now, that early on in my YouTube career, that was one of the biggest things that I talked out against, because I felt like it was male utility, males being used as utility, right? We're only as valuable as our finances. We're only as valuable as our financial assets as men, unfortunately. And this is still very much true in today's society. Possibly it's less true now, in a sense that women may be more open-minded, maybe a little more open-minded in today's society. But female nature, when it comes down to the essence of female nature, when it really comes down to it, they want a man to provide. So hypergamy kicks in after they get off the cock carousel. They're still looking for that provider, and unfortunately, they gotta settle for a beta. So this is hurting the children they raise, probably because they get knocked up and they don't stay with the dad, because the dad is an alpha bad boy usually. And he knocks him up, and he didn't want to stick around because she's just a slut. He didn't love her. You don't love a slut. You don't love a woman you're just fucking, right? It's not how it works. You might fall in love with her, but oftentimes she probably doesn't even love you, right? She's just out for dick, just like you're out for just sex. She's out for the same thing as you are. And even though she's emotionally attached to you, her hypergamy will kick in, and she'll say, oh, well, shit, this guy, he's good looking, he's got good dick, but he works at a bar. Like, he doesn't even own his own apartment. He can't help me. And this is how women think. Don't think that women aren't calculating. Don't think that women don't calculate in that manner. They absolutely 100% do. They know more about our finances than we do. They know more about our careers than we do, because they're very attuned to it, because they want kids, and they have their agenda, right? So she gets knocked up by the bad boy doesn't stick around. Now she's got to go find the guy who's going to not only accept her past, he's going to accept her kid. And usually the kind of man who does that is a man who's going to be hard up for sex, a man who doesn't have that high value because he's not getting laid. So his option, his strategy is to be the guy who's different. Oh, okay, now I got to be the single dad. Now I got to raise the kid because, the other guys won't. And so she's looking for the nice guy who's going to accept all her bullshit and raise her kid and not say anything and take it all on the chin and be her cleanup guy, be her backup guy, right? And that's what it is. And this is what I see when I look outside, when I look at couples, etc. When I'm online, so many single moms, and they're still a commodity. Believe it or not, they're still a commodity. They're not as hot as they were when they were younger, and when they were in better shape and they were more attractive. They're not as hot as they were when they didn't have a kid. Once you have a kid, your sexual market value drops big time. You're no longer attracting the same kind of guys as you were. All right, you're attracting a different kind of guy. The bad boy chads, etc. I mean, they might play around with you, but they're not going to date you. They're not going to treat you like you want to be treated, because you don't deserve it. Your value has lowered. You're not a single woman anymore. You're not your value is dropped because you have a kid. A strong alpha rational male does not want to settle down with a single mom. We don't want to raise some other guy's kids. We don't want to raise some other guy's genes. We want to raise our genes. Okay? But women are leaving us no other choice. And so therefore, the type of man that they are getting hooked up with, he's a beta. He's a lower quality man. He might have a house, he might have a mortgage, he might work, etc., but he's not going to raise a quality kid. He's not going to have the same masculine traits. He's not going to have the same type of confidence. He's not going to have the same type of self-respect for himself as a man who puts his foot down and says, no, I'm not going to date a single mom. I'm going to raise my kid with a quality woman that I've married and that I know is not going to, leave me or cheat on me. But of course, in today's day and age, we can't have that anymore. So it's like we're screwed at every angle, right? But again, a strong alpha male man is not going to raise some other guy's kid, period. Okay, there's nothing masculine about that. You're not a hero. I don't care how these feminists try to frame it. You are not a hero if you raise some other guy's kid. All right, you are not a hero. You are really a cuck. You are cucked for that woman's child, and that's why she chose you. She chose you because you were the guy who said, yeah, I'll raise your kid. You were the guy who said, yeah, I'll take you in. Yeah, I'll pay for things. Yeah, whatever. We'll cohabit. Whatever. We'll get married. Whatever. He was the guy who you chose because he took your shit. Because he was so low value, he was so beta that he had no standards, and he took your shit. Now, can you love a woman who has a kid? Sure, like that's very nice. It's very egalitarian, like, but deep down, a man doesn't want to raise somebody else's kid. It's insulting. Deep down, the men who do that, they're low quality. They have low self-esteem because they want to be the hero, and I'm so different because I'm the guy who is going to raise your kid, and I'm not like those other guys who are just selfish and mean and who don't really love you. No, what you're doing is you're playing a game. What you're doing is you're pretending to be different so that you can find a way in, because really the truth is you're desperate. The truth is that you're in a scarcity mindset, because if you weren't in a scarcity mindset, you wouldn't choose a single mom, because it's not in our essence to want to raise some other guy's kid. It's just you don't have the options to. Now, maybe if she's so hot and she's got great big tits and she's sexy, whatever, a guy will put up with it. A guy will be like, yeah, I'll put up with her kid because she's super hot and woo. But I'd argue that that's not love. I'd argue that you're not getting with that woman for the right reasons. And how could you love a woman who has a kid? How could you love a single mom? How could you do it? How could you? It's just not against, it goes against our nature. It's not in our nature to be like, yeah, I'm gonna go seek out a woman who's already got a kid with somebody else. Like, that's not in our nature. Just in the same way that it's not in a woman's nature to go seek out a man who doesn't have a job, to go seek out a man who's unemployed, to go seek out a man who can't provide for her. That's not in a woman's nature. And it's really not in a man's nature to want to go shack up with a slut, to want to go shack up with used goods, to want to go shack up with the woman who's got a kid from another guy. The reason why guys do it is because they got nothing else. Because women have so cornered the market, because women have so much control over the dating market, that beta guys who are weaker, guys who are not as good looking, they don't have an in. They don't have an angle. They don't have an in to access pussy. They can't get it. So what do? They figure, okay, well, you know what? What can I do? Let me think about it. These bad boy chads, the guys who are fucking all the girls, a lot of them don't have really good jobs. The only reason they're fucking the girls is because they're good looking, they got the abs, whatever, but they don't have a lot of money, they don't have the job. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to provide for her what that guy can't. So he doesn't have a good job, I'm going to go get a good job. So that's going to be my angle. No, I'm not strong and I'm not very good looking. I'm not buff, whatever. I can't provide that for her, but what I can do is I can provide security. So all right, so let me go get a good job. So I'll go get the good job, and then I can be the guy who provides her security. Okay, so this is their angle. This is what they do. And then they realize, well, that's still not working. So what do I got to do? I got to lower my standards. I got to go get the woman who's done riding the cock carousel. She's got a lay count in the triple digits. She's got a kid from another guy, maybe 2 kids from another guy. I got to take her in because she's all I can get. And there you have many modern relationships. That's what these guys are doing. They fill in the blanks. The alpha Chad guy is fine with pumping and dumping, but once he might date a woman, he might get into a relationship with the woman who seems cool, seems right, but she doesn't have a kid from another man. She might not have a very high lay count, or at least it doesn't seem like she does. She's still pretty healthy, whatever. Because of course, the more they sleep around, the less healthy they look. The more they get used by random dick, the less emotionally normal they are, and they get all fucked up in their head, and they start eating bad, and they start doing drugs, and they just go way downhill, and then they lose all their value, and then alpha guys don't want them anymore, right? And this is what happens. So this is why women shouldn't ride the cock carousel. Why we should raise our children, our daughters, better. But then, hey, they got a kid. So the alpha, for a while, the alpha guy will fuck around with them. But once they got a kid, nah, I'm not into that. Nah, I don't want anything to do with your kid, because he knows that she has an agenda. Her agenda is to land a guy who's going to raise her kid. Everyone knows that. When a woman has a kid, her agenda becomes, how am I going to raise my kid? How am I going to take care of this kid? I got to find a guy with money. I got to find a guy who's willing to take care of my kid. This is their agenda. It's more than obvious. They're not out looking for love. They're out looking to fill that void. They're not out looking for happily ever after. They're out looking for the dude who can get them a house. They're out looking for the dude who can take care of their kid. This is what their imperative is. But you can't get the alpha guy anymore at that point. You can't get the strong guy that you want, the confident masculine leader that you want anymore, because if he's a strong, confident masculine leader who has self-esteem, he's not going to want to get with a single mom. So you can't get that anymore. So this is how women are shooting themselves in the foot. This is how that whole female feminist oppressive narrative is hurting women. And again, this is satanic. Behind it is Satanism. In pagan rituals, they used to sacrifice their children to Moloch, who was their god or whatever. This is Planned Parenthood. They're killing these kids. It's Planned Parenthood in symbolism, right? They don't know that it's satanic. They don't openly sign a satanic contract. Yes, we're sacrificing this child to Satan. They don't know that. But behind it, they don't understand the history. They don't understand the evilness. They don't understand that it's against the Bible to do that. God doesn't like abortion. It's very clearly biblical, against the Bible to do that. Now, not everybody believes in the Bible, so we can talk about brass tacks. In reality, I don't want you killing my kid. And besides, some men do, some men don't care about that, but I don't, because I'm self-respecting, because I'm pro-life, because I believe it's wrong to kill things. And not only that, you're killing my kid. That's my genes you're killing. That's my genetics. And I have no say over it. I have 100% no say over it. Nah, man, that doesn't fly with me. I'm not cool with that. Okay, we made a mistake, whatever, but you don't kill my kid. So it's not like, oh, well, there's all these single mothers out there, they should have aborted their kid. That's not the answer either. The answer is to stop being a slut. The answer is to stop sleeping with these whores. The answer is to, if you do, please use protection. Please make sure she's on the pill and use a condom and do everything you can. Okay, but I'm not pro whore either. I wanted to get married when I was like 21. I wanted to fall in love when I was at least 16. I wanted to fall in love early on. I wasn't one of these guys who was like, yeah, I just want to fuck hoes. I wanted to fall in love, but I wasn't cool enough. I wasn't bad boy enough. I didn't make enough money. There's all these things until I got to a certain point when I was like, fuck it. I don't even want to get married. I'm just going to go fuck around for about 10 years. That's what I did in my 20s. That's where I learned most of what I know about female behavior throughout all these experiences. Messing around, dating around. This is how I learned. This is how I learned all this shit. But I'm just going to end it there. The female feminist narrative is just about leverage. That's it. It's just about power leverage. It's just about removing accountability, removing consequences for decisions. That's all it is. Thanks for listening. Peace.